Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly Stevens, and this is Carly Stevens Books for all things writing, publishing, and indie author life. And you may notice that the format is a tiny bit different for this video, and that is because I wanted to have a kind of low-key look at something that I actually found a couple years ago at this point, and I've wanted to make a video about, but I just wasn't sure quite how it would fit. So I thought I would just make it. I would put it out there as a bonus video, and maybe you will be as amused as I am by this whole turn of events. What turn of event am I talking about? Me in a romance book. So I did a search for the name Carly Stevens and then got rid of some of the things that automatically pop up when you search for my name, Laertes or whatever the case may be. And I discovered that Carly Stevens is the main character in Kissing Carly, Kiss a Cowboy series, book 3, Deanna Lynn Sletten. So she is an indie author, and I will be poking some fun at this book. I assume I'm going to skim through it and kind of let you know about my love story. I'm very excited to learn what my love story looks like. I did not read books 1 and 2, nor do I intend to. I know that some cowboy, ranch style romances are in right now, but it has never been my cup of tea. I only bought this one selfishly because, again, Carly Stevens is the main character. So let's do this. Let's discover how I fall in love, who I am as a person, and we'll just take you along for the ride. So let's just be very clear. This is not a pen name of mine. If you've been around the channel, you know that I do have a spicy romantasy pen name, Zora Fox, but it would be so weird to have a pen name with myself as the protagonist. So that is not what's going on here. If you want to buy this book and support Deanna Lynn Sletten, then more power to you. But anyway, let's dive on in. That's enough blathering. So here's the premise. I'm gonna read the back first. She never expected to fall in love. ... Carly Stevens, that's me. So you'll get used to me flipping back and forth between saying Carly and saying I and me, because obviously we're the same person. Carly Stevens loves to have fun, but her carefree lifestyle has finally caught up with her. Broke and in debt, she heads to Montana to spend the summer with her sister, Andy Brennan, at the Brennan Ranch. Her sister agrees that she can stay on 2 conditions. She works to pay down her debt and changes her wild girl ways. Sounds like me to a T. Reluctantly, Carly agrees, but it isn't long before she breaks her promise and finds herself in a bind, and Randy comes to her rescue. I don't know if you know anyone named Randy. Maybe there's a Randy who's a decent person, but I don't know. All of my associations with Randys, sorry people out there, have been negative. So I am just very disappointed that Randy is the name of the MMC in this. Can we change it? No, we've got to keep it. I mean, it has to be some pretty impressive, turns of events, character arc stuff. Is it possible that I could learn to love someone named Randy? It's not impossible, but it's an extra hurdle to overcome. Let's put it that way. Okay, so Randy comes to her rescue. Carly begins to see the quote crusty old cowboy quote in a different light and soon finds herself falling for the one man she never thought it was possible to fall in love with. Randy Olson's life has never been easy, growing up with an alcoholic mother and an absent father, but he considers himself lucky to work for the Brennans and to be considered a part of their family. When Carly shows up to stay for the summer, he does his best to ignore the spoiled city girl, as he has done over the past 2 years when she's visited. Then one night, everything changes and he realizes there may be more to Carly than he ever imagined. As the relationship grows, old doubts plague Randy. Could a city girl like Carly ever truly love a simple ranch hand? We're going to find out together. So buckle in. I grabbed my ranchiest. That wasn't a pun that was intended, but it's a pun that happened. Um, Teacup here, and let's dive in. Okay. So, chapter one, I have looked at chapter one before. I have not looked at anything past chapter one. So, just full disclosure. So, Carly Stevens slowly drove up the long driveway leading to the ranch house. With every crunch of gravel under her tires, her heart beat faster. As she came to a stop near the familiar home, she brushed back her long blonde hair and bit her pretty, full bottom lip. That's how I think about myself. And, when I'm thinking about myself, all of a sudden you get out of her head. Well, here I go. So then she parks. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Obviously, it's a whole book. But she parks, she looks around, she's like, this place is amazing and beautiful. She doesn't think I could live here, but let's face it, that's probably what's going to happen with her. She sees nobody working. She's shocked that nobody is there. But then you learn that she hasn't actually told anybody she was coming. So, like, why would anybody be there? Um, so she's thinking just how beautiful everything is. And then characters, presumably from books one and two of this series, because of the way they're introduced as this big reveal, come up and go, "Oh my gosh, Carly!" and I run up and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you, my sister, my brother-in-law. You're all looking so handsome. We're having lunch." Okay, but then there's Randy. Randy appears. Um, he rolls his eyes, not a classy move. And she says, hello. He says hello. And then he's like, I've got to head off to the pasture. Goodbye. And he leaves. So Carly frowned. That's me. As she watched Randy walk away. He wasn't a bad looking man. I should hope not. Some might even call him ruggedly handsome. His dark brown hair was a bit shaggy, and he always looked like he'd forgotten to shave. I'm not mad about that at all. But in the past, she'd seen his brown eyes sparkle when he joked with family and friends, and she knew he could be nice when he wanted to. I'm going to predict right now that he's going to be nice to her when it matters. But he never paid a bit of attention to her, though, and that irked her. Men fawned over Carly wherever she went. I mean, that's like practically my life in a nutshell. Everyone except Randy. Whew, okay. So she starts seeing more people coming out. I'm not sure if these people are going to be important throughout the rest of the story. We have Luke, her brother-in-law. We have Colt, who I think is actually not quite sure. It's Carly's roommate who married Colt, who's another Brennan. There's Ginny Brennan. There's just a lot of Brennans, lots of manly men and people connected to Carly who know people, who married them. And then her sister, Andy, from the blurb, comes out and is shocked that I have arrived, which makes sense because I didn't tell anybody that I was going to this ranch at all. So they say you can come and stay for lunch, you can come and stay in general, and I, silly wild silly city girl that I am, have brought too many bags. And everyone's like, why so many bags? And I'm like, you can never have enough clothes with you. And then we all head in for lunch. Scene break. We're with Randy, who's bothered that Carly has shown up again. That is me. Calls me a spoiled brat. I don't like that. I don't like that. But for the life of him, it says, he couldn't understand how Carly and Andy could be sisters. Andy was so sweet, smart, and reliable, and Carly, well, she wasn't any of those things. That's harsh. That's harsh. So he's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why she's here. I love the Brennans. I love my ranch job, but I'm just ticked off that this person has arrived. So he leaps onto his majestic horse and rides away. So that's as far as I've gotten in chapter one. But let's see what else happens in the rest of the story. I'm assuming things will heat up. At the moment, despite the nice hair and such, I'm not feeling Randy. One, his name is Randy. Again, it's just my personal experience and preferences, but I have not met a person named Randy who has been very nice. Um, and then he's thinking these mean things about me. That's no good. Okay, so I go in, I'm getting fussed over by everybody. There are lots of characters. I don't know that any of them are going to be that important to my narration here. Ginny, Andy, um, let's see. Andy hands Carly the little baby Jesse, and Carly likes that. And so they're bonding. We see the sisterly bond. That's nice. um Carly's, as she's holding this baby, is looking at like the pictures of her sister together with her sister's husband, and she's like, if only I too could have a family. I wonder what that's going to foreshadow in the future. So Andy finally comes out and says, okay, so you came out here for a reason. Please tell me what the reason is. It's not just to see us. So I lower my eyes. It says Carly lowered her eyes. Her sister was right. She'd never been able to fool her. Okay, I had a little trouble back home, and I wanted to come here and spend time with family. She looked up at Andy, who again is Carly's sister. You're the only family I have, and I think of the Brennans as my family now, too. I needed to be around people who care about me. And so Andy rightly asked, what kind of trouble are you in? And it's financial trouble. Um, I haven't been able to stay current with some of my bills. It's been hard paying for everything by myself since Beth left. Beth, who married Colt, one of the Brennans. I think I'm following here. And I no longer have extra rent income, so she's just not able to keep up her lifestyle. The dryer broke down, relatable things. And she wants to eat out every night and do wild and fun things, but she can't do both. And um and Carly is upset, It's like, I don't know. I don't want you to tell me how to handle my money. I don't want to pay my bills. I want to go have fun and live my wild child ways. Just be wild and such. Okay, so it looks like I owe about $3,000, and Andy is horrified by this. Um, let's see here. Talking about the different jobs, the credit card bills. Oh my goodness, I owe a whole lot more than $3,000. I owe maybe $25,000. So that's actually a distressing number. So I need to be more financially responsible, is what I'm learning. I've also learned that I want a family, that I love being around this ranch. It's just so beautiful, but no chance could I live here. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the reason that I arrived apparently is to help pay off the $25,000 and maybe get a line of credit against the townhouse, and I could use that to pay off my bills. The interest is cheaper and I could start paying it off. But Andy is like, no, you can't possibly do that. But it's half mine. Carly whined. No, Carly, obviously aren't able to handle money properly, and you're not going to put one of our one investment at risk just to pay off your bills. Don't you realize that if we lose the townhouse, you'll have nowhere to live? You'll never be able to afford rent somewhere else. Man, Carly, I am a mess. I am just a mess. I am a wild person who has gotten into an enormous amount of debt, and I just don't know what to do. If only there was a handsome ranch hand who could help me. I'm assuming that's something that will happen. Okay, so they keep talking about that. What are you gonna do about the money situation? I don't want to have to ask anybody about it. I don't want to be in a couple where I have to talk about these things. Okay, end of chapter two. So we get we get a little insight into my personality and troubles. I'm sure you're riveted at this point. What am I going to do? I am $25,000 in debt, and my family is doing reasonable things that make me into a whiny person. Okay, so let's see. So chapter three, we start from Randy's POV. Randy, I'm sorry, just wait. Somebody's gonna come and watch this video and be like, "My name is Randy," and I'll say, "I'm sorry, I didn't." I, it's just a personal preference thing. All right. Let's see here. So, Randy comes back and is thinking about me, of course. So Carly, it says, was usually anything but normal. The old Carly would have flirted her way through supper, making eyes at every man at the table. But last night, this new Carly seemed very quiet and reserved, and it made him wonder why. Did the hardworking, confident Beth intimidate her? So Beth is Carly's ex-roommate who married Carly's ex-boyfriend, one of the Brennans, I think. But again, I'm skimming. Or was she just on her best behavior? So he's like, I not like I care, but she seems changed. Something seems up. He goes in. Oh goodness, now there's a new person. His name is Glenn. I think it's him. A him. Um, we're just gonna not care about Glenn. Strawberry pie, some, cozy ranch ness. I still don't really know what Randy's deal is here. Let's see. Randy's looking around and he hears a voice. Oh my, is Colt around? Or Luke? Randy turned and looked steadily into Carly's blue eyes. Nope. Do you know where they are? They both went to Ray's to help with the haying. How's my Randy voice? Oh, Carly frowned and bit her lip. Andy said I could ride Abby anytime, and I wanted to since she rarely gets to go out much anymore. Randy shrugged. So go ride Abby. Would you mind getting her ready for me? I'm not the stable boy. Colt used to get a horse ready for me, and he'd saddle it too. Yeah, but Colt was madly in love with you, and I'm not. Go get your own horse. That seems reasonable from Randy's perspective. It's not like he works for her, and here she is, like, get a horse ready for me. This feels kind of like an early 2000s movie. This book came out in 2015, so it's not early 2000s, but feels like an early 2000s like Disney movie almost. I don't know how Disney-ish it's going to be um as time goes on. It's a little hard to tell from the blurb if it's going to be a little spicy or not. We're going to find out. Okay, so Carly is complaining about, like, why don't you do all the things for me, saddle horses? And Randy says, guess what, Missy? You'll have to do all this for yourself from now on. There are no single men around here anymore who will trip over themselves to impress you, except for me later in the story, I'm sure. Um, oh, so it turns out Randy, the crusty old cowboy, is 34. I don't know how old Carly is, but that's not old. Oh, that's interesting. So Carly is whiny. Um, they're yelling at each other. They get real close. You know how when you're really mad at somebody, you get like right up in their face, like you're gonna kiss them. It happens to me all the time with people that I dislike, especially. And so Carly stood up straight and stared at Randy. What's wrong with you? Are you trying to kill me? Randy took a breath. His own heart was beating wildly. From the scare of her almost falling down, he told himself, not from having her in his arms. because they're yelling and she falls. But for one instant, when he'd held her so close, she sure did feel good. Cripes, get a hold of yourself. It's his inner monologue. Okay, so this is shaping up swimmingly. Carly, I'm being a spoiled brat, very, very on brand. For me, I'm always bringing humongous suitcases to all of my exotic locales and flirting with all the boys. Um, so Carly, we switch over to Carly's POV after that heart-stopping moment where they're so close. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's more attractive than I had ever imagined. I'm dazed by this. He continues to call her weird names throughout this. He called her Missy a second ago, calls her princess here, don't break a nail. This is an early 2000s Disney movie stereotype of nonsense. Carly doesn't get much of a like character apart from like she's a mean girl, flirty brat person. So I'm not loving that. I'm not loving that. Carly Stevens deserves better, I like to think. So she continues to ogle Randy, who is riding the magnificent horse Blackjack that he owns. They're chatting because now they're on the horses. Randy calls her city girl. I mean, pick a lane. You could just call her Carly. That's normally what I ask people to call me. Um, but anyway, so they've kind of thawed toward each other a little bit ever since like holding each other in their arms briefly. But Carly is still being pretty obnoxious. All right, chapter 4. Let's see what happens. So Carly is helping prepare food, holding the baby, doing things that are generally ranchy, not with a U, but just with an A. Sort of domestic-y things. Let's see. So I hear you and Randy went riding together this afternoon, says someone who is hopefully inconsequential because I'm not going to remember their name. That was nice. Both Carly and Randy looked up in shock and blurted out, "No!" Everybody glanced up and stared at the two at the end of the table. Oh. So apparently they didn't go riding to the same place at the same time the whole time. I don't know. They're so horrified. We didn't go riding together. How could you do that? Randy eats too fast after that. Carly's like, caveman, why are you shoveling food into your face? And um and let's see. And Carly is still bothered that apparently that her ex-boyfriend, Colt, is married to her ex-roommate, Beth. So there's that subplot happening, but personally I don't really care about that. Oh no, we have a new character. Oh my gosh, Quinn and Glenn. Who are these people? Okay. So we're gonna just continue on. Oh, another situation where Randy is a little too close to him. He smells good, all of that, and he says, "Oh, it's just because didn't want you to fall in this field." Um, I mean, maybe, but if it were instead of Carly, say, a short, male congressman or something like that, I kind of doubt that you would take those same steps. just just throwing it out there. So they yell at each other some more. I hate you, you crabby old cowboy. That's how I talk, as well. So then I'm upset that Randy is, getting so close to me, getting up in my business. Who needs that we have Randy POV. He's bothered, of course, by being yelled at and grabs a beer, but her eyes are so gorgeous. You know, he's hoping one day that he'll fall in love with somebody, maybe somebody who looks like her, maybe, but not her for sure. And then Carly has trouble falling asleep because it's like, why is he so mean to me? If only I could fall for someone who kind of looked like him but was also different. So I see what's happening. I see what's happening, Deanna. The two of them they're circling around each other. That's what's happening. Okay. So chapter 5. Let's see. I'm waking up earlier. I feel like that's probably going to indicate growth of some kind. Once again, Carly and her little niece, the little baby, are getting to know each other. And then Carly's going to go out and find a job because that is what one should do when one is $25,000 in debt. But Carly, am just, kind of a brat about it. I'm like, yeah, so fun, love work. No, I want to party. I want to party all day and all night. That is for sure. But something's got to be done about all this debt. Um, so yeah, I was let go from my previous job and just haven't really been looking. I've just been using up, maxing out all my credit cards and stuff. So I'm applying to Margie's Mountain Gifts, I think. Now, what's interesting about this is that I thought I had a home in Seattle before this, but then here I am in Montana getting a job in Montana. So I'm just like setting up shop here. I'm planning to move here. I'm planning to fall in love with a guy named Randy here, I think. So I walk in, the bell jingles. It's very old-timey Hallmark movie. Yeah, great. I want to work here, please. It's the Western Gifty shop, and we hear all about the Gifty shop and how dusty it is, how outdated it is. And then if Carly gets the job, then I Carly can rearrange things. I can update things. That'll be nice. I like style. I have a bit of that David Rose sensibility about me, I think. So, all right. So I get the job at Margie's Mountain Gifts. That's a pat on the back for me. Let's speed things up here. So I go back home. I'm glad that I got the job, as far as it goes. I run into Randy again. It's like I'm constantly running into this guy. Oh, it's just you. So there's still that tension. I like to think of it as sort of romantic tension happening. Okay, so Randy is cleaning a saddle when I run into him. And so then I need something in a different part of the barn, it looks like. And I need to open a big door. And Randy says it's awfully heavy for a girl. I don't like Randy, but apparently I will eventually. So I ignore him and continue up into the loft. I can do it myself, I insist. Just wait a moment, Randy hollered up the ladder. I won't be blamed for you falling out of the loft trying to push open that door. And then Randy does it, and they look out through the door out into the night sky, and they're like, it's so beautiful with the stars. I'm not falling for this. I'm not falling for this. Getting caught with Randy and all these odd times. He told me I can't open a door. Randy, don't be so backwards. But it's a beautiful evening, evidently, and we end up having a little bit of a heart to heart. Like, you had a bad day. Tell me more. And Carly's like, you cut your hair. Oh, well, he's less shaggy. That's okay. But she thinks it looks nice. You know, they talk about the job. And then Randy drops, hey, are you staying here to get your ex-boyfriend back, who is now married to your ex-roommate? Because I'm not into that. And I'm horrified. No, I'm not. I say, how dare you ask such a thing? So that's cool. Um, Colt will always be special to me, I say softly. He's so sweet and kind. He knows how to treat a lady, and he's a really great kisser. Which is weird to say about somebody who is now married to somebody else that you know. She sighed. Oh. And then Randy starts staring at Carly strangely. And then he reaches out and pulls her to him in a kiss. Oh my gosh. That's how a real man kisses, he says. Then he storms across the loft and down the ladder. Just like my dream. This is incredible. Okay, so was there any lead up to that? Was that a normal thing to do? That was not a that's not a very good kiss. Okay, in the next chapter, Randy kind of rethinks his life choices as well. He's like, why did I do that? But also, it was nice. Um, so I guess he's into it? Question mark. But he's also kind of upset. I don't understand. They don't seem into each other at all. They just keep artificially running into one another. Oh, yeah, that was interesting. Randy has a whole family. We get introduced to more people. I'm not introducing you to more people. There's too many people. They're hanging out. We see him being nice to his family. Um, his mom is like, "You seem kind of changed," and he's like, "No, I'm not." That's and that's that. Okay, then we switch over to my POV. Once again, you see the stars there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that kiss. He's such a good kisser. I mean, I would debate that because they weren't into each other at all. There wasn't even the slightest indication that they were into each other, apart from kind of attraction, but not even really. Like, he was a bummer and she was a bummer. And then he just like grabs her and kisses her and says, that's how a real man kisses, and then storms off. But again, she's into it. I'm into it. I'm sorry. Carly Stevens, am into it. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, she's like, I don't know if I liked that. Um, so he starts avoiding her because he has mixed feelings about the whole kiss situation, and she's peeved, and rightly so. Um, let's see. So it looks like she runs into him again, but now with like other people around. So it's not just the two of them again. But he has his shirt off. So I'm assuming she likes that. So once again, she's thinking Randy is like a caveman. He is just grouchy and he's just running around kissing people and being mean, grabbing people left and right or whatever. So I don't understand where this attraction is coming from. But he's starting to be a little bit nicer, I guess. And they're both like, the kiss was also nice. And I don't know. They're kind of hot and cold. they constantly are getting like right up in each other's faces and then being like, "Oh, you smell so lovely," and then but I hate you and running away. A little bit of that. I'm not against. I'm a romance author myself, got to get people close to each other, but um yeah. This encapsulates it nicely. We switch over to Randy's point of view once again. Dots. I've got to stop doing that, Randy thought as he drove down the road to the ranch. I concur. Every time I'm near that girl, I want to touch her. Heck, I don't even like her. Do I? I'm wondering these same things, Randy. It doesn't really seem like you like each other, but then you get real close, and that's that's that. Oh, that's nice. You'll never guess who I saw cleaning windows in town, Randy said, as Luke, who's one of the Brennan people that he works for, fitted another board flush against the previous one. Who? Your sister-in-law, Princess Carly. Okay, so now I am working at the Margie's Mountain Gifts, washing windows and stuff. I'm learning what hard labor is. Before I had all that luggage, but now I'm learning the value of hard work and it's not going unnoticed. No. Um, Randy is noticing it for sure. Um, so Luke Brennan, one of the owners of the ranch, the brothers, starts talking with Randy and is like, "Yeah, so what about Carly? What about the two of you? Hmm. Is that something?" And he's like, "No," but then, "Yes, it is." All right, let's skip ahead here. I wonder what would happen if I like skipped to the end. I'm already like halfway through almost. Let's go to the 50% mark. Normally at the 50% mark, something juicy is happening. So we're gonna skip ahead. I don't think anybody's gonna be mad about that. Okay, here we go. Chapter 11. Um, let's see. Oh, something bad happened with me. I feel wobbly. What's going on here? Oh, I passed out. I passed out in the truck. No, did I pass out in the truck? I've got to go back, evidently. Oh, okay. So I'm just taking, you know, context clues from skimming here, but it looks like Randy and Carly go out for a beer, and Randy gets into a fight on her behalf, and he gets a black eye. She passes out. I think maybe she's drunk or something. And um yeah, she's definitely hungover, and he definitely got in a fight, and it's definitely about her. Oh my gosh, juicy, very juicy. Okay, so Carly is like feeling guilty about the fight that Randy got into on her behalf. She's totally rattled by this whole scenario. Understandably so, my goodness. All right, so it's the aftermath of that whole situation. Everyone's like, "Oh, gasp. What happened to you, Randy?" And he's like, "It's fine. Nothing happened to me. It's been a long, long day." Let's see. So the two of them talk again. They're always in the same situation together, and I don't really understand the reason why. I like a forced proximity story. I do. But it's when it makes sense for them to be in the same vicinity. And here it seems like it's a big ranch and they can hang out with other people, but instead they keep like magnets drawn to one another. So Carly, I bring some cookies to Randy as an apology for the whole bar fight situation. And he's like, apology accepted. They almost kiss, not quite, they almost kiss. And then I leave. Man, things are heating up. Let's see. We've got a fight. I'm still hungover. There's a lot of the aftermath of this scene. Once again, they're talking one on one, almost kiss, don't quite. There are a lot of like near misses here. Okay, they're all talking about the fight. My goodness. Goodness. Let's see. Okay, so her tune is changing about Randy. She thought he was just a what did it say? Crusty old cowboy, that 35-year-old geriatric. And, he was pretty crusty. He was pretty crusty at the beginning, but things are changing. Um, it surprised me. It says that he never tried anything other than an occasional kiss, although he doesn't even really try hard for those. She thought it was sweet. Most men were all over her only after only one or two dates, but not Randy. He was being a complete gentleman, something she'd never have accused him of in the past. She was actually enjoying being treated like a lady, although she wouldn't have minded a few heated moments with him. Oh my. This is interesting. I wonder if the evening that they talk about, the one night that changes things, is the night with the fight that I skipped over. That would be unfortunate. Okay, and then we skip time. We're skipping ahead to July. So apparently I am now just living at this ranch. I am not there to stay for a little while. Maybe I was justified in bringing all those clothes. There's a reason that I had all those big suitcases, and it's because I was staying for keeps. I was not staying for a um a short time, right? Excuse me. Okay. Oh my goodness. So Randy is asking her out on another date. I thought we'd go dancing and picnicking and having some fun. Oh my gosh, Randy, look at you preparing plans and such. That's nice. Most of it's just like in the hay loft, but that can be romantic. A hayloft picnic and dance, and there's a storm. I feel like the storm. See, this is forced proximity. You're in the hayloft. There's a storm outside. You can't leave because of the danger of the lightning, right? You've got to stay. Forced proximity, not just general proximity. That's the way. That's the way. Let's see. So they start playing country from the 30s. Okay. That's known to be my favorite. Man, this is not how I expected my love story to happen, but sometimes love is unexplainable. Oh, I am into this. I'm into this very much. So we're dancing. We're not talking about heartache or, trucks getting um, totaled or anything that some of those other songs are about. We're dancing. I'm laying my head on his shoulder. Thank you for this, I say softly. I haven't been this happy in a long time. Randy kissed her softly on the cheek. Me either, he whispered. Oh my goodness. I look up at Randy. We're like oil and water, day and night, cats and dogs, sweet and sour. Man, it's like they finished each other's sandwiches. And to think you never even looked at me twice when I was here before, I tease. Well, that was before. Oh my. Okay, and then it's the take the band out of the hair move. That's pretty smexy. I wonder what's gonna happen in this barn. Okay, so they're flirting with each other, right? Oh, we're kissing now. Randy and Carly. Oh, this might turn into like something something that I'm gonna have to skip. We're getting a bit hot and heavy here. Um, okay. Okay. So he's like, let's not. Let's just kiss while we're here. And she's like, okay, I can live with that. And so they're all like snugly. Okay. I thought it was gonna, I didn't know what was gonna happen in that barn. They seem to be having such a nice time. And then look how much is left. That is distressing. It was a quick love story, and I feel like it's about to fall apart. So Randy is smitten. He is besotted by me. How could he not be? My wild child ways have been evidently tamed by window washing and holding babies and things of that sort. Randy is already thinking, am I in love with her? Is it too soon? It is too soon, Randy. Um, I mean, I'm very lovable and all, but it is too soon. So then Randy starts flashing back to his childhood when he heard things like, you ain't nothing but a 2-bit ranch hand just like your father. That's how I imagine the sound in his mind would go. I mean, you can see italics there. So he's like, "Oh man, I'm not good enough for her. She's big time. She lived in the city. I don't live in the city, so I'm not worthy of her." I guess is the way he's thinking. So he's probably going to pull back. That's what I'm predicting here. Let's let's skip ahead here. Um, let's see what's going on. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have some meaningless miscommunication, as one might expect here. I mean, I would like to think that I would behave better, but I go into a diner and I see Randy with someone who's like really young. And remember, he is crusty and old. and and I accuse him of of cheating basically, even though they're together, but they're like not together. And then he accuses her of cheating because apparently he, in I think the chapter that I skipped, walked in while she was talking to Colt, remember her ex-boyfriend who's now married to her ex roommate that he was kind of afraid she was going after at the beginning. So he's like, "Yeah, well what about Colt?" And she's like, "Yeah, well what about this young lady?" And um you can imagine how that goes. The waitress person that he was randomly talking to is not having it and calls her mean names and walks away, which is, that might be fair considering how I act toward her. Come on. Come on now. That's not how it should be. So Randy talks to Colt and is like, "Why are you, cheating on your wife with Carly, my love interest?" And Colt says, "That is dumb and not happening." And Randy goes, "Oh my gosh, I need to apologize." It's true. It's true, you do. You should have just talked. That would be the way to go. Okay. Let's see. So now they're apologizing. I say awkward things like, um, let's see. So I'm talking to Randy. Randy says, "I'm sorry for accusing you of these things." My face grows hot. My life before coming here has nothing to do with you and me. Yes, I've had relationships with other men, and yes, I haven't been an angel. Colt and I were lovers. Get over it. We aren't anymore. What does that mean? That every time you get mad at me, you're going to throw it all up in my face? What about you? You mean to tell me that you've been a perfect angel your whole life? What about that little waitress last night? Did you sleep with her? And then I shove the coffee at Randy and spin around to leave. Wait a minute, Carly. No, There's no more to say. If you can't trust me or respect me, there's no point in continuing this. I've been played by men too, and I won't be played again either. Also fair. If he can't communicate like a grown person, like a real man, he might say, as he did when they first kissed, then yeah, no, nobody has time for that. Also, Carly, you don't need to choose the only single guy on the ranch. I mean, there could be more single people. Other names have come up that I haven't cared about, but you don't need to choose any of them. You can just, be single or look elsewhere. But I have a feeling that it's destiny with Randy. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see how that works out. They're all horrified. Okay, we're skipping ahead. She's like, I have a past. And he's like, I have a past. Everybody's starting to go, are you an item? And they're like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, you were picnicking and dancing in the hayloft, so obviously you are some kind of item. You went for beers that one time, got in a fight. We all know those things. Um, let's see. So then Randy's mother is getting out of the picture. Everybody feels bad for him. I believe she passes away here. Oh, well, that's terrible, sad timing for everything. The relation, whatever situationship, kind of blowing up, and then that happening. No wonder he's having these flashbacks to some of his bad childhood and such. So I step in and I help to plan the funeral with him. Uh, let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait, let's slow it down because this funeral, nothing's as hot as this funeral. Okay. So he's like, thank you for helping me. You didn't have to, which is true, they don't know each other that well, I don't think. Um, and he's like, I think you're pretty special. I say, I was happy to help. I'd better head back to the ranch so you can get some sleep. It's been a long day for you. Thank you for helping today. If you hadn't come here, I'd probably still be on that sofa drinking beer. Glad I could help. Isn't that exactly the conversation they had just a second ago? Oh, and then he says, he's all vulnerable, and he says, like, will you stay? And she stays. Um, it looks like nothing happened. I don't know. It's a little hazy whether anything happens there. I think nothing officially happens, but man, we're like definitely inching closer to things. We're spooning, we're whatever. Oh my gosh. Okay, so they wake up together, and obviously they're toast for each other. That's what's going on. But there's still so much of the story left. What's the issue now? What miscommunication are we gonna run into? Let's find out. Um, okay, so so Carly gazed at Randy in awe. It's like the third time I've seen that sentence pop up. There's a lot of like gazing in awe. All right, we're kissing quite a bit. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, I say. I'm so glad to be here with you. Then what is this? Hmm? What's this? What have we not covered yet? Let's see. Oh, I like that. Randy cries about his losses, and he thinks that men don't cry. They can and should. And that's what I say. I say real men do cry. You have nothing to be sorry about. And then she's there for him while he's like learning what emotions are. That's nice. That's very nice. Um, so that's I'm helping him to, I guess, improve, get through this challenging time in a way that is a little healthier than just stuffing down emotions. So let's see. Are you serious together? Yeah. Let's return to that like $25,000 debt. I assume that's going to come up at some point. Let's find out here. Randy was planning a surprise for Carly. Chapter 21 begins. Randy was planning a surprise for Carly, and he felt as excited as a schoolboy as he tried to keep it to himself. You know what that just makes me think of Muppet Christmas Carol. I like the two Muppet movies. If you saw my previous video about Muppet Treasure Island, um, I'm as giddy as a schoolboy. So apparently there is a surprise of some cat. Oh wait. Oh, Saturday morning. Okay, let's slow down and read this here. Saturday morning, Randy caught up with Carly beside her car before she left for work at the gift shop. He and Colt had spent all morning training two young horses their neighbor Ray was paying them to break. He so okay, so they're not saying that the two horses were trained in one morning. That's just what they spent the morning doing. They were working on that. For a second, I'm like, man, that's miraculous. He was hot, dusty, and smelled like horse sweat, but he wanted to ask Carly a question before she left. I wonder what that question might be. Okay, let's act it out. I'm gonna do the dialogue here. Hey, cowboy, why are you so dirty? Were you working for a change? Watch it, or I'll give you a big sweaty hug and ruin your nice clothes. I wanted to ask you something. How would you like to go out to supper tonight, or maybe even dancing? Dancing? Really? I'd love to. Where would we go? To the depot? Actually, there's a little place this side of Missoula on the river that I thought you might like. They have delicious food and a band in the lounge on weekends. You can get all dressed up and we can act like grown-ups for a change instead of a cowboy and a princess. I'd love to. That sounds wonderful. So, is this an official date? None of those were official dates. The hayloft dance, picnic, spooning time wasn't an official date. Okay. Yep, I guess it is. Well, it's about time, cowboy. What time should I be ready? I'll pick you up around 6 and make the reservation for 7. Sound good? I can't wait. And then I drive away. Neither can I. Oh, so I guess the question was, do you want to go dancing? I feel like there's a question past that question that we need to get to. So I get all dressed up. I look very nice, you know, long blonde hair that I've stopped tossing over my shoulder as much. Let's see. So he looks good too. All right. We know how this goes. They're having steak. They're calling each other cowboy and princess and don't fight tonight. Okay, come on. Where's the question? Is this the question? Oh my. This is the question. Not the question I was anticipating based on the speed of the relationship or situationship or whatever. But so they're dancing and then they're looking once more at the stars as one does in these things. And then he says, "Will you stay with me tonight?" Which he already said before. They didn't do anything really. I mean, again, it's a little bit blurry, but I don't think so. So I think this question is like, you wanna like go home with me? Wink, 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 wink. Yeah, that's definitely what's going on. I'm not going to get into the details of how this is happening. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, well, I didn't expect it to go that way just because of the lead up. The lead up didn't seem too smexy. The early parts of the story and whatnot did not indicate to me that there was going to be um, you know, this necessarily in here. But Randy, Carly, get it on. So I thought it was going to be a different question that he was going to ask. Maybe he will. He probably will later, but evidently, first question on his mind. Let's. When do you want to do it? Okay, so yeah, I love you. You make me complete. Okay. I'll tell them. I'll tell the other one how I feel soon. That's not gonna go well. Something is gonna be off that will prevent them from declaring their love for each other. For me, declaring my love for Randy. I should have just said it, you know, before I left the house. Okay, lots of minor characters doing subplotty things. We're not gonna bother with that nonsense. Oh, somebody else got engaged. That's nice. The Brennan clan, you know, grows, I guess. Okay. So they're planning a quick wedding for these other random people and they're spending the nights with each other. Man, this really like took a turn in the spice department because before there wasn't like, I myself am a proponent of making it very clear what kind of a book you're getting into. Like chapter 1, you get spice, like it's not very happy, until the end. It's not like fantastic or whatever, but like what kind of book you're getting into. This one, I'm just arriving at a lovely ranch with I don't know, but now it's turning spicy. We've got a little passion happening here. They're being vulnerable with one another. Am I in love? Yes. Okay, you keep asking yourself that, and I'm so sorry that I blamed you for flirting with Colt. All right, we're really drawing this out. Let's cut to the chase here. Okay, so Carly, I'm still considering leaving the ranch, but I have a job there at this point. This is so silly. Okay, so that is going to be the issue. It's so Carly, continue to think that I'm going to leave, but I actually have a better reason than I thought. I could make better money in Seattle than I could make in this small ranching town. That's probably true. And I've got to pay off $25,000 worth of debt. So Randy is like, no, my heart is leaving. We've got to talk about this. I don't know who has the grandma voice that I just used, but so they're both weeping. Let's see here. Will she leave? She needs to go back to Seattle to make money to pay for her stupid debts. When she could have gotten a job instead of partying and blowing through all the money. Oh, okay. So they're like, it's over. It's really over. So she's got to leave. She had some growing up to do. She needs to get that job. They break up. Gasp. Um, so no, they're not gonna try long distance or anything because he's trying to let her go. She's trying to let him go. Oh. So he's not even there to see her drive away. I mean, he's out. Uh, and then she is as well. Maybe they don't end up together. Maybe my love story never happens. Okay. Let's see what happens here. So he's the crankiest, he's the crustiest old cowboy that anyone has ever seen. He's back to his grumpiest of ways. Okay, so then he has another talk with one of the Brennan brothers, the owners of the ranch, Luke, who is my brother-in-law, who's married to Andy, my sister. So the brother-in-law talks to Randy and says, I know that Carly loves you. And I saw how much both of you changed over the summer. And you've got to go after her. Wait, what does he say exactly? You love her, you idiot, says Luke. And she loves you. And all I can say is if you don't get in your truck and go find her and beg her to spend the rest of her life with you, then you are the biggest idiot I have ever known. Again, early 2000s rom com. Am I right? Like, I feel like he's going to run through an securityless airport at this time and, stop her from getting on a plane. But I think she drove there. It was like a couple days of driving at the beginning if they're staying consistent with modes of transportation. I wonder if he'll do it. Yeah, he does. He put a change of clothes and a few personal items in a duffel bag, grabbed his coat and hat, and headed out to his truck. Oh my gosh. So she's still pining after him, even though she's let him go. She's living in Seattle now. And then Randy appears and says, I never believed I deserved anything good from life. So if any came my way, I ran from it. But for the first time in my life, I'm running towards something instead of away from it. I'm running toward you. Carly, I love you. I don't know why I sound like oh gosh, what's her name? That actress who's in Misery and Natlock and Kathy Bates. Why do I suddenly sound like Kathy Bates? Randy sounds like Kathy Bates. Randy took my hand in his, oh my, and slowly dropped to one knee. Behind them, other characters that I don't care about gasp, but Randy ignores them and continues, his eyes only on me. Marry me, Carly. I promise I'll love you forever, for years to come. My other hand draws up to my mouth as tears slide down my cheeks. Is this real? Do you really want to marry me? Yes, it's real. I love you. Oh, how nice. They're like oil and water, day and night, cats and dogs. Yeah, we're going to hate each other so much. And then they drive off into the sunset. That's how my love story happens, everyone. Oh my goodness. We get an epilogue where they get married, and that is all that happens in the epilogue. The end. There we go. Thank you for joining me on this long-winded, practically ASMR-esque jog through Kissing Carly by Deanna Lynn Sletten. If you like this kind of thing, you can definitely check out her books on Amazon. You can find them all there. That's where I found this. But yeah, there we go. It is my love story. And now you and I have gone on that journey together. Have you fallen for Randy? I feel like I haven't, but I have been told that in fact I have. I have. He is the one for me, and we can live happily ever after in wherever we're going to live, Seattle or the ranch, and I didn't really look it up. All right. If you are new to the channel, I would love it if you subscribed. That would be very nice. Like this video if you like it, and I will be back next week with another video that is more practically helpful for writers than just learning what my love story is. But I hope you were as amused as I was. Okay, that's it. Bye.